Hello, my name is Alexandra Rusu. I come from the University of Bucharest, and I will talk to you today about social capital and conflict in a virtual community. The community under study is a community of Romanian-speaking parents, and I will begin by talking about why people are drawn to this sort of community, a virtual community. First of all, it's an accessible information source in a more isolated life stage as young mothers, especially mothers, are more tied to their homes when they have a small baby. They are a source of emotional support in a period marked by anxiety, and is that time when you have a small baby in your family and you don't know exactly what's the best for him or her and for your family as a whole. It's also a meeting place for people with similar views as uh, especially if you don't have a mainstream parenting style. um, you need people who share your views on parenting. And for migrants, it's a way of maintaining contact with their home country. The social capital of virtual communities is based on common values, which draw people together in those communities, and it's built through repeated interactions. This also happens in a time where interactions from door to door are replaced by interactions person to person, as Warman at Artery said. This means that we have more personal relationships and not so much family relationships between families or between households. Um, another source of social capital in virtual communities is the existence of common goods created by the community and maintained by it. This is an ethnographic research. I started by analyzing public forums and blogs, and also public groups on Facebook. I did a network analysis of the Facebook network of public pages that are part of the community. I used Netlist and Gephi. And also I participated in the life of the community. The next step will be interviewing active members and leaders of the community. I already have the consent from many of them for doing those interviews. As already stated, this is research on a virtual community of Romanian-speaking parents. They are mostly mothers, but there are also a few fathers in this community. They mostly have higher education, also formal higher education, but also a style of speaking or writing that shows that they had a good education. The main common point drawing them together is questioning traditional parenting theories and advice, and making parenting a main concern for their whole life, and research and learning. Members of the community interact in different virtual and real-life situations. They interact in forums, they have Facebook groups, they have blogs who are interlinked, and they also interact in real life. They have private and public meetings, and they attend conferences and so on. The shared values and behaviors of this community belong to the currents of natural attachment parenting and respectful parenting. Um, most most parents in this community wear their babies. Mothers breastfeed their children extensively, and there are a lot of co-sleeping families in that community. They prefer to consume natural and nature-friendly products such as healthy biofood, clothing made of biofibers, handmade cosmetics, cloth diapers, and other reusable stuff. They are concerned about their diet. They want to have a healthy diet for themselves and for their children, but there is some difference of opinion on this. Some have embraced a raw vegan diet, and others think paleo or traditional diet are better. They are interested in alternative education like Waldorf, Montessori, Emilia-Reggio, um, or homeschooling. And there is also very common behavior of going against the mainstream norm, just being different than their parents or their parents. Maybe the most visible shared behavior in this community is baby wearing. This is why parents recognize each other in public spaces by baby wearing, by seeing other parents who wear their babies, and that's that aha moment. This is one of us. So, how does social capital manifest itself in this community? First of all, there is a great level of trust, I can say. They share a lot of confidential information in forums or in Facebook groups, and also on their public pages on Facebook. They give each other medical advice and follow it. They make common orders on different online shops, so they can share the transportation costs. And there is also this shared clean food or almost biofood, but it's not regulated anyhow. So if someone has some relatives who live in the country and grow vegetables or fruit or animals, they tell the others that they can bring some of this food, and they trust each other so to buy this food and believe that it is cleaner than what you can find in the supermarket, for example. Norms are reinforced by especially by the admins of Facebook groups, but also on forums. There are some discussions, some explicit discussions on generalized reciprocity. I help you when you help some other person from the community. We help each other because we are all parents, we are all mothers, and we want the best for our babies, and we want the best for all the babies. And also there is this norm of fairness, and we will talk about it a bit later when we talk about conflicts with outsiders. There are some networks that are the main structure of this community. For example, there are a lot of interlinked blogs of bloggers who know each other and are friends, they have befriended each other. They know each other from forums, and they started blogs. There are businesses who belong to this community. They mostly are a few years old, and they work together. There is this network of professions who are linked to pregnancy, childbirth, early childhood, and motherhood. Um, this is a network of midwives, doulas, doctors, and lactation consultants. And there are also the personal network of community leaders who always bring new people to the community. Those are their friends, relatives, or other acquaintances. A manifestation of social capital is the associative life of this community. Although the community started at the beginning of this millennium, starting with 2009, we have specific NGOs like an association of midwives or an NGO supporting breastfeeding and so on. There is cooperation with more general NGOs who support the values of the community. Then there are less formal intents to popularize the ways of the community. For example, baby wearing groups have pamphlets about why and how baby wearing is healthy for small children. And there are some intentions of creating free schools and creating a community of parents around those schools. There is very little research on conflicts in virtual community. The research in virtual community has concentrated mainly upon community building and cooperation, and less on the effects and management of conflict. Although conflict is a part of virtual and real life, and it can shape the way a community works. Conflict in a virtual community mostly surprising because there are people who don't know each other and get very angry at each other, and they get so involved, and it becomes so intense. I identified 6 types of conflicts in the community that I studied, and I will talk each one of them. First of all, there are biographic conflicts between the leaders of the community or between very active members who are veterans in the community. Those are long-term conflicts between people who may or may not have been friends at some time. They are managed by avoiding each other mostly. They just attend different Facebook groups or different meetings, or they ignore each other or are just a bit polite when they meet, but they don't really have a conversation. You can only see those conflicts when something arises, or when they talk about each other in contexts where the other one is not present. These conflicts weaken the social capital of the community as they are a source of fragmentation, but they are temporarily overcome when solidarity is needed, as in the case of conflicts with outsiders of the community, when the community is threatened by some kind of enemy. I will give you an example of such a conflict. Here we have the network of page likes on Facebook. So each of these Nodes is a page, a Facebook page, which can like other pages or be liked by other pages. The circled part of this graph mostly contains shops, baby wearing businesses, but also some other natural cosmetics and so on. And we will zoom in on it. As you can see, we have here two pretty important nodes. They have a greater degree than those around them. They are in the same part of the network, in the baby wearing portion of the network, but they don't even have this superficial link between them, and this is because there is a conflict between the owners of the businesses. What is interesting is that although there is this conflict, they still are neighbors in the network. It's like in a real life community where you have a fight with your neighbors. You can ignore him or her, but you still have to be neighbors. And all the people around you are still your neighbors or your co-villagers or whatever. Ideological conflicts involve topics that are not central to the community, so the community is not really divided by those conflicts, but they are important for some members of the community. And one such topic would be religion in homeschooling groups or forums, or vaccines and their impact on health. These conflicts are usually managed by declaring controversial topics taboo or off topic, so they can be discussed in specific groups. People involved in those conflicts are referred to dedicated groups or forums, which are not necessarily a part of the community, because on vaccine forums you will have also people who are pretty mainstream in their values on education, for example. This is a potential source of fragmentation, but it is, the community tries to hold it under control by just ignoring those conflicts, but by just sending them to the margin of the community. A third type of conflicts in this community are conflicts on the border, to defend the borders. Those are mostly conflicts between people from the community with people who hold and promote values or behaviors that are different from those of the community. They are generally ended by the exit of the outsiders. It can be voluntary or they are just banned. Trolls are excluded when they are identified, and there are some formal rules about what you can discuss and what you cannot discuss in specific parts of the community. This brings us back to theory and the downsides of social capital. It's just a source of isolation of the community from the rest of the society or from other parents. They are sometimes viewed as elitists or extremists. But they, on one hand, they try to go into mainstream, so to make their values a bit more mainstream. But on the other hand, they seem to enjoy being different from others. There are conflicts with those trying to take advantage of the community. For example, people who try to sell overpriced baby carriers or um, reusable nappies, um, or fake products like fake carriers. Um, they they are usually excluded from groups, and fake profiles are hunted down in order to exclude them from groups, Facebook groups and forums. There are warnings for community members, so they know that those products are not what they seem to be. This is a source of social capital for the community, and also for some actors like accepted sellers and producers. And it also strengthens the trust in community members. The conflicts with the rest of the world are world of mother-in-law, old wives' tales, uninformed mothers, incompetent doctors, and so on. These are one of the reasons the community exists. It started in general, more mainstream parenting forums, and because of the conflicts with other members of the forums, other users of the forums who were more, let's say, traditional in their parenting values and behaviors. Some of the leaders of the community started a different forum, a dedicated forum, and then their own blogs and so on. This is a source of cohesion for the community, but it also can be a source of isolation. It contributes to this image of being an elitist community, that of people who think they are better than the others. The last type of conflict is between so-called extremists and so-called moderates. There are people who think very strongly about things, about their values, and others who take them a bit more easily. These conflicts are a source of fragmentation. For example, they generated different Facebook groups on the same topic, with some of the groups being more restrictive than others. They partially overlap over ideological conflicts, where the so-called extremists are also those who will adhere to some specific values who are a bit outside of the scope of the community. These are not two very clear categories. The groups and bloggers are situated in different points of a continuum from mainstream to, let's say, very extreme. If we look at what has been discussed until now, we can see that in a small virtual community, an exclusive community, members have to face some constraints similar to those of real-life closed communities. Mobility is possible only through adopting a different set of values, so moving out of the community into a different minded community. Or being part of no online parenting community, just exiting virtual parenting communities. thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any inquiries, please use my email address to write me.